Welcome back to the Grand Solar Minimum channel. Whoops, hello Neil. Today is Friday, January 17th, 2020. Let's take a look at our solar update for today, and then I'll get into some weather. Right now, our solar wind's coming in at 334.2 kilometers per second with a density of 5.5. Once again, we are blank without sunspots. That is now 6 days in a row, and a total of 7 for 2020 thus far here. So far, we did have a late start as we saw sunspots on our star for multiple days, and now we have kind of crept back into a minimum type situation. Our TCI actually dropped a little bit too, 3.06, down from 3.11. KP indices sitting at a 0 with a 24-hour max of a 1, so very low KP indices. Definitely sign to watch for any kind of earthquake or volcanic activity. These are usually the kinds of conditions we look for, plus with Earth-facing coronal holes. We have one now that is starting to turn away from Earth. We expect to see solar wind stream to increase by January 20th, 19th through the 20th is when we could see some increase in solar wind speeds. Other than that, we are all quiet, folks, from the sun. 0 sunspots to speak of, nothing on the eastern limb. A couple little tiny bright areas there, but nothing that qualifies as a sunspot. And as far as, well, here we go again, right? The good old black screen. All right. So let's go ahead, and this is an old story that came out Monday, but I hadn't had a chance to talk about it, and I kind of wanted to share this with you guys. But severe storms spawned an intense wet microburst. Now, this is kind of the stuff that, the reason why I'm bringing this up is this is grand solar minimum type effects here. This is the kind of weather we get. These microbursts become more common, and we've definitely heard more about microbursts in the past 5 years than we ever have. But severe storms spawned an intense wet microburst in North Carolina's Sampson County on Monday afternoon, January 13, 2020, which ripped off the school gym and injured 3 students. Powerful winds up to 85 miles per hour left a gaping hole in the roof and wall as students ran for their lives. The video was captured here at the school, and I'm going to go ahead and share that with you. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Yeah, Bella's upset about it too, but watch this. And these kids take off running, folks. And we are lucky that only 3 kids were injured in this particular accident. Had those kids not have taken off running when they did, it could have been bad. I mean, this is just debris flying around, probably lots of glass. Either way, an intense microburst. I mean, look at that wind. So very, very fortunate that this was all the damage that we had to endure from that particular microburst. Again, check out the rest of the story here on watchers.news with more details about what happened and how much rain fell in that short period of time. School was canceled on Tuesday and Wednesday. No word yet about if the school classes resumed today. I'm sure they did. But anyway, let's take a look at our radar for our friends across the pond out here in the UK and the European nation. As always, we have rain across most of London, England right now. Ireland also getting some showers and storms. So let's go ahead and check out what the forecast says here at the Met Office. Today, most areas seeing a mixture of sunshine and rain. Showers can be heavy with hail and thunder in a few spots. Showers may merge to give longer spell of rain over parts of England and Wales. And then also today will be colder than yesterday. Daytime, or tonight I should say, showers becoming confined to northern and western UK. Otherwise, long clear spells and much colder night than the one last night. Widespread frost is possible by dawn. And then on Saturday, after a cold start, most areas will be fine, dry, and sunny. Still, a few showers for parts of Scotland, Northern Ireland, and northwest England, windy in the far north. And let's go ahead. Pardon me, folks. Let's go over and check out our weather forecast here in the U.S. Let's take a look at what's happening right this second. We get this radar to load up real time. Gig service my butt. All right, so Winter Storm Jacob. There are now blizzard warnings for parts of South Dakota, North Dakota, and actually let's go ahead and take a look at that. The National Weather Service map, and we are looking at blizzard warnings, South Dakota, North Dakota, parts of western Iowa, western Minnesota, high wind warnings across the back end of South Dakota and northern Nebraska, parts of Colorado and Wyoming as well. Winter storm watches and warnings all over the Midwest and the upper Great Lakes. Some of these winter storm warnings have been put in effect now, and watches have been put in effect now for upstate New York and parts of the Northeast. Wind chill advisories in the far parts of upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Yes, wind chill advisories. We woke up to temperatures in the single digits this morning near the capital region. So that's a look at our watches and boxes as of today. And here's a current look at Jacob as Jacob is marching forward here. And he will affect the Midwest today through tonight and then into Saturday morning. That is when we will see this particular storm system move on out of here into the Atlantic Ocean. But before then, we are going to be talking about the possibility of ice and snow and sleet, and also rain will be involved in parts of this storm as well. And let's go ahead and check out what we have in store as far as our weather goes. Our wind chills right now, let's check that out, because the current temperatures are going to reflect some pretty cold stuff here. There we go. Negative 22 in North Dakota, negative 4 near the border of South Dakota, negative 27 in Minnesota. Good morning out there to a millennial farmer. Negative 15. These wind chills are pretty darn brutal, folks. But it is January, so nothing out of the norm here. Here goes a look at our frost freeze line. And we can see now that that milder air is being pushed further and further south as we are starting to see freeze temperatures in parts of South Carolina, Georgia, and the little tip of possibly Alabama. Not really, but most of Tennessee also at freezing and below. And some really cold stuff in the northern plains. These are real temperatures, folks. Negative 11 in Minnesota, negative 1 in the Minnesota and North Dakota border. 3 degrees in Vermont, and negative 5 near Maine. So the bulk of this cold air is in the northern plains, Great Lakes, and in the Northeast as well. So let's check out what we have in store as far as for high temperatures today. Again, you can see that milder air being pushed down further south into the Gulf as this cold Arctic blast begins here, folks. Today is the 17th. This is where we will start to see that transition of mild winter weather into colder temperatures, and also we could probably start seeing more wild weather as well. Here's the lows for tonight, and it is going to be frosty to say the least in the Northeast and in the northern plain states. Meanwhile, if you want mild air, you're going to have to live on the Gulf Coast to get that tonight. Let's take a look and see what NOAA has in store here for the next 3 days, what they're thinking. Then we'll take a look at the GFS outlook. Today, it's just a freaking mess, really. Across the middle part of the country, heavy snow for Minnesota and Iowa, and Iowa, yeah, it is Iowa. North Dakota, South Dakota, and Nebraska. Also looking at mixed precip with all just snow in the Northwest. Freezing rain possible from Kansas all the way through Ohio into West Virginia. And of course, heavy rain and thunderstorms along Illinois, Missouri, and parts of Arkansas. And also next week when we do a full report on Monday, I'll get together some information, but we are now starting to see some of these rivers along the Mississippi, some of these areas are now reaching flood stage levels. So, and it's only the second week of January. A lot of folks were thinking probably somewhere around February. So here we are on Saturday, and Jacob is moving right along. The heaviest snow is going to be in the capital region of New York, around upstate through Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, and into southern Maine. pretty quiet behind this, but lots of cold air following this storm as well. And then by Sunday, Jacob will be gone. Some lingering snow showers for the northeast. And look at that. For the most part, except for Florida and southern Georgia, we're going to be pretty quiet. Now, Washington's got some moisture as well. But this is the quietest that I've seen the forecast map in quite some time. So let's go ahead and take a look at Tropical Tidbits and see where the GFS is going to lead us here for the next couple of days. Here's Jacob, who's making his way across the United States. By Saturday, it's approaching the northeast. Ohio, it looks like all rain for you. Same with Indiana, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Mississippi. But if you live in the northeast and the Great Lakes, this will be a decent snowmaker. Now, forecasters are finally putting a number on this. A lot of folks are now coming out and saying 4 to 8 inches on this snowfall. Now, I've called for 6 to 10 inches since the beginning of sometime last week. I'm going to continue to hold on to that forecast, as there just looks to me like there's a possibility for a little bit more moisture. But right now, I'd say the 4 to 8 inch range is definitely safe, but I'm going to hold on to my 6 to 10. January 22nd, another minor disruption across the United States becomes a big storm. And by the 23rd, well, this thing is a slow mover, folks, and a little bit of more mild air than we expected. And when I say mild, I'm talking mid-30s. That's a good thing at this point. This rain is not going to be enough to melt the snow that's on the ground, because the cold air is going to follow very sharply next weekend. I'm going to hold on to my reservations on this particular storm system, because there's going to be a lot of colder air in place, and also with the snowpack that we're going to get from what we already have, and plus with what we're getting, I think that's going to make a difference too, as far as how cold it will be by the time this storm makes it. So we could have another big snowmaker by next weekend as well. And then after that, some clipper systems going through the northeast. And another big system tries to pull itself together here on January 30th. And again, it's riding the wave of this mild ridge of 35 degrees, 37 degrees. It could be an all rain event, could be snow. So this is just too far out, too unpredictable. But we do know that we have colder air on the way for February too. And again, Northern Plains, the Great Lakes, parts of the Midwest, and the Northeast look to be the prime candidates right now for the majority of this winter weather. All right, that's going to do it for me today, guys. I hope everyone has a wonderful day. Please tune in tonight, 9 p.m., our call-in show for you YouTube members, Patreon members, and also PayPal members. But anyone who joins up with us on either YouTube or Patreon or our PayPal donations, you will get access to the phone number for the call-in show that we will start back up again. It's been a couple weeks since we've had it. We're going to go ahead and fire that back up tonight at 9 p.m. The topic is going to be, how do you talk to your friends and family about the grand solar minimum, and what does that mean? All right, guys, we hope to see everyone tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Don't be late. Until then, we will talk soon, guys. Have a great day.
Do you like this show? Give us a thumbs up. Want to support us more? Share to your favorite social media platform. Buy a t-shirt or become a Patreon. All links are in the description below.